Mertilla. I reckon God wants everyone to be educated.
Then why can't I go to school?
I told you a million times, dear, it's because it costs money to go to school. We don't have any money.
Then why doesn't God make it so school doesn't cost money?
That's a good question, Mertilla. And I reckon as how the answer is that God does want school to be free. We humans just don't cooperate. I believe that someday it will be free so that everyone can get educated, even poor folks like us.
Ma, what is an invest?
Invest? I don't know what you're talking about.
The other day, I heard you and Pa talking. You said that Mr. Silas Peppermint invests his money and makes more money. What does that mean?
Oh, well, dear, Mr. Peppermint puts his money to use. He buys something or puts his money into something that in the end brings more money back to him than it cost him in the first place.
Oh, his money goes to work for him.
That's exactly right, Mertilla. His investment goes to work for him if he puts his money into the right investment.
I go to the woods and pick blackberries.
Oh, I don't see any reason why not. Just be careful and be back before dark.
I will.
A Little Girl's Faith. How to make investments work. This story is about a little girl named Mertilla Luci, who wanted so much to go to school. Mertilla comes from a not-so-wealthy family of 8 who could not afford to send her off to get her education. One day she asked Mom if she could have a doll for Christmas, but her mom said, "No, we can't afford it. We're poor." She told her that it was barely any money to clothe them, much less as get her a doll. Tilla began telling Mom what her friends get. Then Dad stepped in to tell her to quit asking for things. No means no. Mom talks to Dad and feels a bit down because they can't afford to give their children like the other parents. Mrs. Luci starts talking about this man named Silas Peppermint, of how rich he is and has no children and can seem to buy anything he wanted. Dad said, Silas was born to be rich, and he was born to be poor. What he touches turns to gold, but what I touch doesn't. Mertilla's mom said, Mr. Peppermint is careful and wise about handling his money, and that increases his money. Then he invested. Mertilla had a conversation about various subjects with her mom and dad, in which one of them was about investments and the other education. After her question concerning school, she asked her mom what it meant to invest. Tilla told her mom that she overheard their conversation about Mr. Peppermint and his investments. Her mom told her that he puts his money to good use and buys some things that later brings more money back to him than it cost in the first place. His money goes to work for him if it's put into the right investment. He is a very successful man, Tilla thought. Tilla asked her mom if she could go to the woods to pick blackberries as long as she's back before dark. Mertilla goes out and then walks to town looking for a big house on the corner and happened to stop by Mr. Peppermint's place of business. She was a little afraid because she heard so much about him and how stingy he could be with his money. She felt that he wouldn't possibly invest in someone like her, being that she was of no importance. When she finally got the courage to go and knock on his door, a lady answered and almost redirected her to the door she walked in. She told Mr. Peppermint that a little girl was there to see him, and he did see her. She asked him to please send her out to get her education. It'll be like an investment. He wanted to know why it was so important to Mertilla to become educated and who put her up to it. She said, "The world is full of things I know nothing about. To go without education is almost as bad as being blind and can't see." She told him she always wanted to go to school, but her parents couldn't afford it. She let him know that no one sent her, nor does her mom know or her dad that she's there. She stole his heart from the very beginning. He asked her, why does she come to him and no one else? And why would she be a good investment? She said, I didn't know nobody else that had money like he did, and she'll grow to become successful if he'd help her now. She told him, when you don't know anything, you can't see with your mind, just like you can't see with your eyes when you're blind. He told her that that's profound, coming from someone so young. Mr. Peppermint didn't know what to make of it, since so many has come to him always wanting something instead of giving him something. She's the first that has done something for him in quite some time. He decided to invest in her, so she kissed him on the cheek. She went home quickly to prepare for school. The next day came, and she was all set, ready to go catch her train. Mom was sad that she was leaving, and made her promise to write. Tilla said she would at least once a week. On the way taking her to her train, Dad couldn't understand why a man like Silas, tight in the pockets and powerful, would do this for anyone, especially his daughter. He was proud that she'd get a chance for an education. She's now aboard the train. She wrote her first letter to her mom while on the train, not knowing how to spell that well, to let her know that she was fine and one day she would be well educated and refined and they would be proud of her. She would study real hard. She also wrote to Mr. Peppermint, letting him know that she arrived and will learn because of him and his generosity and will become the best investment. She promised to write him soon. He's certainly not regretful for investing in Mertilla. Another letter came 1 month later from her and her headmaster. They brag about her, about how bright she is, and leaves nothing undone. Mertilla wrote him letting him know about exams and that she made straight A's. She was determined to finish in 6 years. She wants to go to summer school and is willing to get a job in the school cafeteria to pay for summer school, so it won't cost Mr. Silas anything. She is undecided what she'll do after school. Signed, Your Investment. Many letters came after that. This letter addressed him this time as Uncle Silas. It made Mr. Peppermint feel so important and loved. She's about to graduate and will be taking state exams to be able to teach in the fall. If she passes, she'll take a few extra subjects in the summer so she could teach on campus. She continues to thank him for investing in her and how he made it possible for her to be able to teach others about the truth about the importance of education. He's also invited to come to her graduation to see the product of his investment. Mr. Silas is not able to make it because he's been ill for quite some time. He writes back, but not to tell her the truth about his health, but he had other engagements and can't come. The letters slowed down a bit, so Mr. Peppermint began to worry a little. Time goes by. It's been a whole summer now. Silas is ill with a terrible cough. The doctor is called in, and he is stubborn to see the doctor. The doctor insisted on bed rest for Silas and leads him to his bedroom. Silas is now on medication. A letter came a few days later from Tilla. She's still thanking him because he made it possible for her to get her education. He later says that he hopes one day school will someday be free for all children everywhere. He later says that he hopes one day for children in all areas, plus of all ages, nothing will be costly. He repeated her quote when she was far beyond her years. When the body doesn't know things, it can't see with their mind, like the blind can't see with their eyes because they are blind. He believes everything Tilla says. She now has a teaching certificate to teach the 3rd grade next Monday morning. She would like to see Silas and thank him personally, but her schedule is so busy that makes it impossible. She promises to continue to work hard at teaching and instill in the kids the wonders of knowledge, and that Silas's investment has in return become a good one. He's so happy, but feels terrible in his body. The doctor is called back. There is no major diagnosis except old age, allergies, and loneliness, which can be just as bad. Silas is determined to go out of town, but can't. Something amazing happened. Mertilla Luci heard about Uncle Silas and came to town just to see him and to stay with him until he got well. She planned to give him what he needed. She told the doctor who she was and how Uncle Silas invested in her over 8 years ago and made it possible for her to get her education. He said it was the best investment ever made. Because this little girl had faith and persistence, this is what she came to be. Her mom and dad couldn't afford to send her off to school, but once she learned how she could try to do something to help, she did. This is the hope of a small child. After she overcame her fear of Mr. Peppermint, she pushed until he said yes. Once he said yes, she went after what she wanted in life and became a testimony to so many families, and also prayed that other children would be given the chance that she had. Later on, education was free for all. We're not sure of what happened to Silas, but he was so thrilled of what Mertilla became. We have to be faithful and put the work in. If Mertilla hadn't had the conversation with Mom, nor picked those berries, or even went to that big house to meet Mr. Peppermint, who knows if she'd been given the opportunity to get her education and making something of herself. She teaches a lesson to all those who has given up on themselves and doesn't see hope. Life is what you make it. Her family was not rich, but poor, and they had to do the best of making ends meet. The struggle was real and still is today. Life can and will toss curveballs, but we need to learn how to catch them and throw them back just as harder. Mertilla is a great example. Exercise your faith today. Faith without works is dead.
Is your faith misplaced? Why not put faith to work for you? Faith can be a very great investment. Be blessed.